TV shows and movies, which is more preferable, and in your opinion, which one do you just simply like better? I know for me myself, I think I would have to go with movies at the end of the day, but I think both of them do have their pros and cons. I think when you look at it down to the basics, I think TV shows has a better time of developing certain things, like maybe characters and story, because you can spend a lot of time throughout plenty of episodes and possibly even seasons diving into character arcs, story arcs, the lore behind the world that you're making. With movies, if done well, you can also do that. And if given a series or a trilogy of films, you are now given the opportunity to flesh out the proper story or details you wish to convey on screen and to your audience. I think I love movies so much because there is this theatrical feel to what a movie brings to you. I think the climatic feel of a movie is what really takes the winning edge for me. There's nothing like being in a movie theater with a bunch of people all experiencing the same thing you are, and especially when it's such a pivotal moment, not being able just to feel what maybe the characters are feeling throughout the movie or the tension they're feeling, but even knowing that there are so many people in that room who are all feeling the same way you are. The stakes are so much higher when you take a 2.5 hour film and by the end of the movie, something dramatic is gonna happen. But that's not to say a TV show can't have the same feel, because you really can have that same feel in a TV show. The only difference is it is now backed up by years of development, and now after years of spending time watching a show, you can really see how it ends up turning out. You get to fall in love with these characters for an extended period of time, and then you get to see what their outcome will be by the end of the show. I think a prime example of that is, once again, Game of Thrones. And I hate to mention the show, considering what season 8 did a lot for us, and really what it did for us was just cause pain and suffering and a huge amount of disappointment. But with that being said, I think where Game of Thrones really exceeded was exactly what I was just saying, developing characters that we all love just to really take them away from us in the most intriguing and really entertaining way. Even though they didn't execute that properly in season 8, and you may even argue season 7 as well, the entire basis of the show did it at a fantastic level. Now, what really conquers the market? Is it a movie or is it a TV show? I think that's just, in general, such a tricky subject, and it's a hard conversation because I don't really know if there is a right or a wrong. The time we're living in, I think definitely TV shows, simply because of the COVID situation we're in that is stopping a lot of movie theaters from being open. It is completely halting any brand new movie that would be released in theaters today or within the next couple of months. And not only have streaming services definitely found themselves at the front line of entertainment within the past couple of years, but I think right now they're just surging with money because of COVID. During the lockdown, not being able to go anywhere, not being able to go out for dinner, go watch a movie at a movie theater, go out to parks, go out with your friends, go to a club, go to a bar, all of that into consideration, what were most people doing? Well, they were at home watching Netflix, or Amazon Prime, or now the Disney Plus, or HBO Max. There are so many streaming services to list off of, and there are so many streaming services to really invest your time in. So if I were a company who owned a streaming service, I would see how much money you can easily make just by simply having subscribers and viewers on very popular shows. I could understand from a certain point of view why maybe some people believe movies and theater watching might not be so prominent once COVID slowly starts to disappear. I personally don't believe that because, like I mentioned before, I think there's a feeling you get when you watch a movie that you simply do not get when you watch a TV show. Unless that TV show is of a high scale and a big production budget like a film. But seeing the money movies can make in theaters is what I believe won't keep them out of the competition. When you look at a movie like Avengers Endgame, I know that every movie that enters the theater will not be an Avengers Endgame type film. Not every movie is going to be making over $1 billion in the theater. It's simply just not gonna happen. But when you look at what a movie like an Endgame can do, they made over $2 billion in the box office. You can't get that from TV shows. I think movies are just a very fast way to earn you such a huge chunk of money. Now, say what you will about Marvel. I'm not the biggest fan of them. They do have a select certain amount of movies that I do enjoy. The last two Avengers films, Infinity War and Endgame, I really enjoyed Infinity War. I think it's one of the best movies they made. I think Endgame is overhyped. I think it's a little overrated. I do still enjoy it, but I don't think by any means it is perfect. At the end of the day, would you rather watch Avengers throughout an entire TV series, or would you rather have viewed a movie like Infinity War or Endgame in the movie theater? And I know for me, that would be the movie theater. I don't think you get that same feeling when you watch it through a TV show. I think I have been spoiled with bigger budget TV shows. So usually when I think of TV shows, I'm thinking of general TV. I'm thinking of programs on CTV or CBS or ABC, all of these crappy sitcom TV shows you get every year that last one season and they just tank, or they somehow last 6 seasons and the show wasn't even funny at all. And I think you could say the same thing about movies, about there's just so much of the same stuff being made today. And I think that's a fair argument, but I will say at least with a movie, at least I could be entertained by a popcorn flick where I could just sit back and be like, this is a bad movie, but at least I can enjoy it for its entertainment. But with TV shows, especially the general TV shows, I feel like that just gets really, really boring because it starts to blend in and look like the same old TV show. Where I get spoiled is with programs like HBO or Netflix or Amazon, where now their budgets are a lot higher and some of these TV shows are even made to look like movies. And I don't mean to keep going back to it, but look at the production level of Game of Thrones. That to me is a movie level TV show. And I think that's where TV shows can also have an upper hand, is the fact that you can start getting these budgets nowadays that make your shows almost look like movies, but now you get to watch them from home. But now there's another give and take from that, is that that's great. I think that's really cool, being able to watch a movie type TV show in the comfort of your own home. But there is something so traditional about seeing a movie with your significant other or a group of friends, or maybe even sometimes just by yourself. It's just such a great experience of being able to go to the theater, experiencing it on this massive big screen, and watching it with a room filled with other people who are all feeling similar emotions to yours. How about a company like Disney, who just recently announced that the future of their content will mainly be Disney Plus? They're gonna focus a lot more of their attention on Disney Plus shows and straight to release movies rather than the movie theater. And that is a little hard for me to understand, considering how much the Marvel movies blow up within weeks of being released in a theater. Look at Star Wars. Star Wars episodes 7, 8, and 9 were not executed well at all. They're the worst Star Wars movies made, and yet they still made, I think, $5 billion in the box office. And I think that might even really hurt them in the long run. Let's say, for example, a Star Wars movie brand new is being released on Disney Plus today. The only way to watch this brand new movie is, one, you have a subscription to Disney Plus for $10 a month or however much it is, but that's not enough to get the movie. You still need to pay $20 to view this movie. And then after you view it, it's yours. Now you have an even bigger problem with pirating issues. When you go to a movie and someone pirates the movie, you have a harder time making the screen clear, making the audio eligible. Now, within the comfort of your own home and with the equipment that people have nowadays, it would be so much easier to rip a movie off of a streaming service and cast it out there on the internet for free for everyone. And not just pirating issues, but a huge issue is being able to purchase that movie off of one account, being in a room with, say, 5 to 10 people. Now, we all watch the movie off of one account and only spent $20 or $25. Heck, make the brand new movie $30, and you're only getting a $30 payment off of one account, even though there are 10 people in the room. That is an extra $20 to $30 you are losing from every other person in that room. You wouldn't capitalize from the amount of money that a movie could potentially make if you didn't put it in a movie theater, because at least with a movie theater, now everyone has to buy a ticket. With a streaming service film, only one person needs to buy the movie, and then everyone just goes over to that house and watches the movie for basically free. And I realize that at the end of the day, it is the subscription service that you will basically be banking all of your money off of. That is 80, if not 90% of where your money is gonna come from. When you look at movies nowadays, all making over $500 million or more, it's hard to see why you would want to stop releasing movies in theater. 15 years ago, maybe a little bit more, movies could get away with being released in theater and only making $200 to $300 million in the box office. And no, not everyone could be Titanic. Not everyone is making $2 billion in the box office during the early 2000s. That's just not happening. With The Dark Knight coming out in 2008 and being the first superhero film to have ever cracked $1 billion, I think that really changed the game, considering after 2008, look how many superhero movies came out. And so many of those superhero movies have cracked over $1 billion. So it's hard for me to believe that movies and movie theaters will not continue to stand and succeed even with the success of streaming services. But once again, that is simply my opinion, and I could completely understand if you think streaming services are not just dominating the market, but will potentially take over for movie theaters in general. Whether or not your opinion is the same as mine, comment down below and let me know which one you prefer, movies or TV shows. And then after you leave your comment, you should go watch your favorite movie or TV show. Talk to you guys soon.